Hi folks, welcome to Glassware Imports. This is a little tutorial on showing new customers and some existing customers how to get all the shipping courier options in the checkout to reveal themselves. So number one is if you're on our website and you're loading your cart with products and you haven't logged in, then you won't, and if you proceed to the checkout, like I'm about to do here, you won't get many shipping options. Okay, let's proceed to the checkout. Let's see if it gives us anything. It probably won't give us anything because if we're not logged in, there's no address details here to provide any shipping options. Okay, so number one, you need to log in. So I'm just going to go back to the checkout. So here you can actually calculate. So you can actually put in, let's go Coburg, North 3058. Update. So now, even though I'm not logged in as a user, but I can use the shipping calculator here to get an estimate on what shipping may be to a suburb. It's really important you put the correct name in and you don't abbreviate any suburb name. So you can't put Coburg NTH because that won't work. And you can't also put North Coburg. So if you put North Coburg, that won't work either. So if you're a little unsure about how the suburb name is spelt or if it's two words in what order, I find it's always best just to go to Google. Put in the suburb name in Google and it'll come up and show you exactly what that should be. All right, why is this not working? Here we go. All right, so it took a little while. Takes a little while sometimes because I will say we're the only company out there at the moment that gives clients multiple shipping options. Most of the time when you buy online, you actually only get one option. We do ship thousands and thousands of orders a year, Australia-wide, and unfortunately we have found that one single courier doesn't perform great across the entire nation. So we do find, and that's why we have different options. We've got a lot of regular clients, and some clients in some locations know that Star Trek is their best option. Others sort of in metro areas do find, especially if you're in Melbourne, we're in Melbourne Metro is always going to be the cheapest with Fastway Aramex, even though the service might be a little bit delayed because they're not always the best at getting it there on time and in one piece, but they are certainly the cheapest. So each courier, has its own niche in the marketplace. If you're wanting to get some feedback on who operates best in your area, usually you know that because you probably order online, from other companies. And because you're getting multiple couriers delivered to you, you kind of know who operates best in your area. So that's why we have lots of options, and that's why sometimes calculating shipping can take a little while. So let's say we're going to go and we're going to stick with Aramex Fastway, and now we're going to proceed to the checkout. But I also want to point out that we're still not logged in as a user. Okay, so even though it's allowed us to put that in there, it's not going to allow us to place our order, I don't think. No. So, and that's because you haven't got all these filled. And you also need to log in. So see it here, it says here, create a password. Because again, we're not logged in, but if you're a returning customer, you need to log yourself in. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay. So for new customers, that's, I guess, the first I guess, best tip we can give you is that before you even start shopping, just create yourself a new account and log in, because you'll probably have a slightly easier experience if you're ordering as a user rather than doing it at the last moment. All right, so now we're logged in. Let's go back to the to view cart. So there's view cart and there's checkout. All right, so right now, if you see all the options, so these are all the options we have. We've got Aramax, who used to be formerly known as Fastway. They're best for metro areas. They're typically always going to be the cheapest if you're a metro area in Melbourne. You've got Border Express. They're relatively new. Miscellaneous. Look, this is just a miscellaneous option that we sometimes have on occasion for some clients. Toll is probably only good. They're probably best at interstate deliveries. They do cause a little bit of breakage here and there. So I think if you are going to go toll, I would definitely highly recommend doing the shipping insurance, probably with them and Fastway. They tend to we tend to get most reports of breakages through those two businesses, through those two carriers, I should say. Star Trek are typically always the most expensive, but I will say we rarely get breakages. We've never got any missing parcels or anything with those guys. All right, so moving on to the checkout. So let's go to the checkout, and this is where it can get a little bit fiddly, I would say. Which relates to the address fields, because I want to show you this, all right? So when you're putting in an address, please try not to use the second line. Unfortunately, just because of the way the shopping cart is set up and interacts with our shipping and dispatch system, we can't remove this line. But I want to show you what happens if I add something to this. Let's say leave in back. Okay, if I put a comment there, you kind of think, oh, it should be, relatively simple thing to add there, but it's not. See, by adding something to that field, you immediately limit your shipping options. And this is because some of the carriers we have, they're all linked via what they call is an API, which is an automatic price API. Automatic price maybe indicator. I'm not sure of what the interface. Sorry, and that means that our website is directly linked to the courier's website to get live pricing. Okay, and that pricing is configured based on your address. And some of the couriers, like we used to have Toll there, Borders was there, Star Trek was there, they don't see this field. Some couriers do see this field, some don't. So when they don't see this field, they don't recognize it. Therefore, they come back and they say, oh, I'm sorry, we can't offer you a service for that address, because they don't know what this field is. So I would strongly recommend not using the second line in the street address. So if you've got any information you want to tell us, just put it in that first line up there, or put it in the notes field down the bottom, okay, order notes. Now, just because I moved that back up there, you can see I've got all my shipping options have come up again, which is great, all right? And then the last thing would be is just like I mentioned previously, is about spelling mistakes or abbreviations. So if I go Coburg North, okay, and I don't spell North properly, it's probably going to limit my options. Yep, it has. Again, none of the couriers recognize Coburg North like that. And then if I do North Coburg, probably going to be the same. So let's just wait for it. One, two, it's okay. It's given me a couple of options. All right. So it's really important here that you make sure that you're using the correct spelling of your suburb and obviously the correct postcode, and not to use the second line in the address field because that will limit your options. So see that? All right. Well, I think that's about it. Also, it's probably worth noting that if you spend a bit of time, in the checkout like we have now, that then you want to make sure that you refresh your screen just prior to checking out, because you just want to make sure that whatever changes you made are saved. See, the changes I just put in there are not saved, and that's because I was supposed to add it as a new address. So you can make a change here, but it's actually not going to save it in your default address. All right. So that's really important to know, because, and as you can see there, because I made a change, I did have it on local pickup and now it's changed back to Aramex. So it's gone back to the default because I made a change down here. So you really want to make sure that whatever changes you're making, you actually make them in your, I'm just going to open a new tab here. Oh no, you're not going to see them. All right, let's just go back to address fields. Okay. So these are your address fields here. These are the two I have in my account. So if you just go to your dashboard and then you go to addresses, and you can edit your address here, but you can edit it from the checkout, but it won't save it, okay, unless you change it here. All right, so I hope that makes sense. Let's go back to the checkout just one more time. Let's go all the way to the checkout. Remember, I had added the road in here, so it's taken me back to the default. Okay. Taking me back to the default because I had written in road, and it's also taking me back to, because I've moved out of the checkup and back in, so it's taking me back to the default setting. So I have to reallocate to the courier option that I wanted. In this occasion, it's a local pickup. And it didn't save the fact that I added in road there, so I can actually do that. But let's do comment, test, and submit. And there you have it. So you can see there, it saved my address road, but I think if I go back and I log in, it won't have saved it. Let's add something to the cart. It won't have saved it. In the default template of my address, because I didn't save it in the address book. Okay. Oops. Let's go straight to the checkout. Scroll down. Yep, and see it's still 123 ABC without the word road. All right, so I do hope that some of this was useful to you. Again, do make sure you don't use the second line of the address field if you want to see all of our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shipping options that are available. All right. Well, thanks for your time. All right. Have a good day. Bye.